There comes a point in many a video game when you have discovered the best weapons, spent all your upgrade points, and developed your skill tree to the point where you are become Death, destroyer of worlds, and also enemy scrubs. Some games are fine to let this go. Others, however, decide that maybe you're getting a little bit big for your boots and take away all your stuff to let you prove how good you really are without all your gear, weapons, and upgrades. You'll thank them for it in the future, probably. Here are 7 games that stole all your gear to let you prove how good you really are. Enjoy, and beware spoilers for the following games.
What's your story?
I'm an impatient traveler, ready to turn ship. The ceasefire's getting us nowhere.
In some places, the number 13 is considered unlucky, and you can add Final Fantasy XV's Kingdom of Lucis to that list, because let me tell you, Chapter 13 in that game is a real kick in the nards. That's because it's Chapter 13 that robs you of the ability to summon the magical weapons you've been using since the start of the game to fight enemies and work on improving your upper body strength. I mean, that's the only explanation for what he's doing up there, while all his mates are down on the ground fighting that thing. At the end of Chapter 12, you find yourself face to face with the game's chief antagonist, Ardyn Izunia, who looks like the sort of street magician who would make your wristwatch disappear. Permanently.
Your attack hurt me, nevertheless. My feelings, at least.
This is mostly a scene that allows Ardyn to be unbearable, brag about his immortality, and reveal that he's kidnapped your buddy Prompto.
Where is he?
He? The little gunman's a short shot away.
Before he leaves though, he robs you of your power to conjure your weapons using a small handheld clicker that we're pretty sure he borrowed from a TV weather person.
With all these demons about, you could certainly use it. Off you go then. I wouldn't want to keep you from your friend.
Tonight's forecast, 90% chance of smug assholes. This clicker activates an anti-magic generator in a giant hovering mega fortress, and as you approach the Imperial capital, you lose the ability to use any of your magical weaponry.
Are we seriously marching into the capital empty-handed?
Empty-handed isn't quite accurate. Although all your regular weaponry has been swiped, you do have the Ring of the Luci, which allows you to slowly drain demons of their life force, but also gradually chips away at your own health. Still, this whole weaponless segment was such a boring drag that Square Enix later patched it to make it easier and less tedious, and even gave you an entirely alternate route through that part of the game called Chapter 13 Verse 2, which followed Gladiolus and Ignis instead. And they got their weapons back too.
Why, I come bearing gifts.
The hell?
See? Gifts. Now, I believe a thank you is in order.
For what? Another one of your stupid tricks?
Okay, thanks for the weapons, but what about my wristwatch? Come on, hand it over.
Are you going to kill him?
Of course. But first, I will make him pay for hurting Ivan.
If you want to make it in the go-go world of tactical espionage action, then you have to improvise with whatever equipment you happen to have about your person. Whether that equipment be a conveniently large cardboard container, or sometimes, and much worse, nothing at all. For example, in Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, when protagonist Naked Snake infiltrates the military fortress of Groznyi Grad, he is captured and they take away all his equipment and shirt.
Here's where the fun really begins.
When you say fun, you mean... Man, it's always torture and never travel Scrabble. In time-honoured Metal Gear Solid tradition, Snake is tortured horribly, enduring a session of forced lightning, punching, and because Mad Lad Ocelot does his party trick where he juggles a bunch of loaded revolvers, getting his eye shot out. At least we already know he looks great in an eye patch.
I've got your equipment. We'll meet up later.
Eva.
But I can't get too close to your cell. You'll have to figure a way out of there yourself.
Post-torture, Snake is flung into a prison cell without any of his guns, gadgets, ammo or explosives, let alone the use of both eyes. And at this point you're left to fend for yourself with nothing to your name except an old fork you find lying on the ground, presumably left behind by the last unlucky sod to enjoy Volgin's hospitality. Fortunately for Snake, waking up in jail with all his kit confiscated isn't the dead end it seems, on account of how Volgin can't confiscate the idiosyncratic metatextual chicanery for which we know and love Metal Gear. See, the best and weirdest way to escape the cell is to pop into this model viewing menu and spin Snake around a bunch of times, which makes Snake so dizzy from being twirled around that on returning to the game, he vomits on the floor.
What's wrong? Are you okay? Oh, jeez. Did you throw up?
Then when the diligent but unwary guard comes in to mop up the puke, all that remains is to fork your way to freedom. From there on until the point at which you're finally reunited with your precious guns and gear, it's plain sailing for the resourceful, unarmed, naked Snake, sneaking his way out of Groznyi Grad and kicking anacondas to death.
Tasty.
How can you be hungry right now? You just threw up. Also, that's a giant anaconda.
Welcome to the Ramblin' Rock Club. For your safety and my peace of mind, present your hand to the security dispenser.
Deathloop is a game in which your character, Colt, is stuck in a time loop, and to break that loop has to kill 7 people in one 24-hour period, like a marginally more violent Groundhog Day. And while you're aided in this quest by several kinds of guns, explosives, and of course, a big machete, your greatest ally in your murdery quest are your slabs, Dishonored-style powers that give you supernatural abilities. You can take 2 of these slabs with you on missions, and they range from short-range teleportation, to invisibility, to linking enemies together so that what you do to one of them happens to all of them. It is usually shooting them in the head, yes. Most useful of all, however, is Colt's permanently equipped slab known as Reprise, which allows you to die and come back to life again twice per loop. This gives you 3 lives with which to eliminate your targets, or just to experiment with, to see if, for example, jumping off this will kill us. Yes, experiment successful. As you can imagine, you come to rely somewhat on these slab powers, which is why it's such a setback to turn up at the visionary Frank Spicer's house and discover that he's had something called a class pass machine installed.
Welcome to the Ramblin' Rock. Let's see them big spanking hands, Colt. No re-rolls in my house.
Put your hand into the class pass machine and you'll quickly realise that while it does unlock the door to Frank's house, it also disables your slabs.
Diving contest now.
So for the foreseeable future, you're going to have to do things the old-fashioned way, and by do things the old-fashioned way, I mean stab people with a machete. It also means that if you die once, that's it, so if you've been playing the game as a guns-blazing, havoc-slab-toting whirlwind of chaos and destruction, all that's got to change. Or, yeah, I guess you could sneak in via the roof and not bother with the class pass. Honestly, Arcane, you bring this on yourself.
So I've let him run his little forsworn rebellion from inside Sidna Mine. Now he's out of control. My prison, the source of half the silver in Skyrim, the most secure prison in Tamriel. No one escapes. I thought keeping Madanach down there would keep him under control.
Given that you begin every Elder Scrolls game having escaped from imprisonment, you're probably not in a hurry to return to a prison. But if you want to join Skyrim's rebel group The Forsworn and enjoy the latest in dead animal fashions, you'll have to complete a quest called No One Escaped Sidna Mine, which sees you banged up in the aforementioned mine, sentenced to hard labour, and with all of your precious belongings confiscated. Oh no! I'm under-encumbered! Skyrim's most secure prison doubles as a silver mine, and all its inmates are mining silver for a rich family called the Silverbloods, in the most literal character naming since Goldfinger. It's also home to the leader of the Forsworn movement, the King in Rags Madanach, who appears to have made himself rather comfortable.
Your freedom? Yes, But even if you were to escape Sidna Mine, your name would still be stained with all that blood. You're one of us now, you see?
If you're planning on throwing your lot in with the Forsworn, you'll need to get Madanak on side, and you do that by killing an inmate called Grisvar the Unlucky, who's in for repeatedly getting caught stealing.
The first time, thieving. The second time, thieving. The third time, thieving.
You know, I'm thinking that's less unlucky and more unwise. With your selection of massive swords and axes unavailable to you, you'll have to acquire that most prisony of armaments, a crudely fashioned shiv, probably made from a medieval wooden toothbrush or something. Stab Grisvar up, and Madanak is suitably convinced that you're on the level and agrees to orchestrate the prison breakout. At this point, the entire inmate population gathers for a rousing speech and then just walks out of this allegedly maximum security penitentiary via an extremely convenient tunnel. And so ends the quest. No one escapes Sidna Mine. They should have called it, literally everyone escaped Sidna Mine. Ah, you might be wondering, but how am I going to get my stuff back when it's presumably in some sort of locked chest in a guard room somewhere? Well, apparently, someone found time during the leisurely stroll out of here to pop upstairs to get it for you.
I had Kai recover all the things the Nords stole from you.
Man, if I'd known prison was this easy to escape from, I'd never have returned all those library books.
Don't leave. I can't let you.
You're still alive, huh? Before my friends murder you! Tick-tock! Your life's on the line.
Wait!
Inventory management is as fundamental to the Resident Evil experience as zombie disposal and monsters having eyeballs where there shouldn't be. Still not loving that. So what are we to do when Resident Evil flips the script and takes away the sacred ritual of inventory management by taking away your entire inventory? If you answered, freak out and panic, you would be correct. Full points. In the scariest portion of Resident Evil Village, wherein Ethan investigates a creepy house full of old dolls because, wow, I guess he really does want his kidnapped baby back, he discovers the most assertive of the house's terrifying doll population waiting for him in the basement. Please observe the moment in question in Ellen's Resident Evil Village livestream.
There it is. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. No! No!
This is the point at which the doll, Angie, disappears your precious inventory of carefully selected items and upgraded weapons using, I'm gonna say, haunted doll magic.
What? Wait, where's my
gun?
No,
Okay.
where's my gun?
Okay, well, you had several guns. Check your inventory, and you can use one of the other ones. Triangle.
Sorry,
Triangle. Oh, no.
You hate to see it.
Was that all your guns?
Oh, that's all of them.
Oh, no.
Your lack of gear makes the rest of this encounter 1000% more scary on account of generally how vulnerable you feel without the comfort of an organised inventory, and specifically how when the giant baby monster turns up, you don't have a Lemmy semi-auto pistol with which to take a pop at it. Would it have helped? Who can say?
No! Oh, there. Whoa, there he is.
The funny thing here is, as Ethan goes on to discover, the wild stuff going down at the Beneviento estate is partly hallucinatory in nature, since the dollmaker Donna has access to pheromones that let her induce delusions in anyone who has had a snootful of the local pollen. You don't need me to tell you that this means when Ethan lost all his guns, he actually still had all of them. It was only the pheromone hallucination that made him think he was completely unarmed, when in fact he was stumbling around the basement hallucinating a giant baby strapped to the eyeballs like a John Wick in an anorak. Which is why his inventory magically restores itself once he's out from under the influence.
Good. I need to get out of this place.
Sure is nice to have my guns back. And also my baby's legs.
You're back, man. We are back. All right? All we gotta go do is bust out Brad, and then we're golden, man. Franklin, he makes us multicultural. Lester makes it cyber. We're like modern America.
Grand Theft Auto is not typically a series that is restrained when it comes to giving you weapons.
Firing in 3, 2, 1. Make strike. Go now.
I obliterated Willy the Kid with the orbital cannon. Case in point. However, there are a couple of occasions in Grand Theft Auto 5 where the game takes all of your miniguns and assault rifles and fireworks launchers just to see how good you are with a good old-fashioned pistol.
How the hell am I gonna get in here?
Well, you've played dead before, haven't you?
The first of these is the mission Dead Man Walking, in which Michael has to infiltrate a morgue to identify a dead body. Rather than just sneaking in the back door, however, you have to go in a body bag before knocking out the autopsy doctors, grabbing a gun, and then fighting your way through waves of guards to recover your actual gear all the way up on the second floor. Even more involved than this is the mission Bury the Hatchet, in which Trevor and Michael get into an argument, and then Trevor flies up to North Yankton to dig up Michael's fake grave.
You're dead. You're dead! Trevor, hey, T!
Keen to stop him, Michael drops everything to head up there himself, and by drops everything, I mean drops all his weapons, because when you arrive in snowy North Yankton, all you have on you is a pistol. Or 2 pistols after Trevor throws his one at you. Normally this wouldn't be a problem, but then carloads of triads show up for a shootout right when it would be super useful to have a grenade or a rocket launcher, or maybe even an orbital laser.
You started this!
Regardless of how well you do, the mission ends with Michael being taken hostage, which I'm pretty sure wouldn't have happened if I'd been allowed to bring an attack helicopter. Just saying.
The warp rat didn't get himself that. You got something from me and my crew? Or are you just looking to get criticized? You set here a spell. I needs to set on some coffee, maybe put on silverware and the like.
In the history of bad plans, Peach Wilkins from Bioshock's plan to prevent you getting through Fontaine Fisheries has to rank in the top 10. Probably just a few spots behind we can get another sundeck on the Titanic if we just get rid of some of these lifeboats. Unlike in most of the other entries on this list, the game doesn't forcibly take your weaponry. Instead, you have to willingly give it up by emptying your pockets of guns into a nearby pneumo tube. Peach then jumps you almost immediately after you enter the room, using the element of surprise to attack you while you're unequipped.
Atlas! He was ours! Ours!
A solid strategy, you might think, except for a couple of, and let's call them what they are, massive oversights. First of all, he lets you keep your wrench, the wrench you've been using to fairly effectively brain splicers for the first 3 hours of the game, and that is arguably the best weapon in the game. What did he think you're there for? To repair the plumbing? Because let me tell you, it is Also, and really this is something that as a splicer himself, Peach really should be across, owing to your abuse of the magical sea cucumbers or whatever, you can still fire flames and electricity out of your hands. Plasmids, right, that whole thing. Thanks to the fact that your hands are deadlier weapons than even Chuck Norris's, this fight with Peach and 2 of his splicer mates is over quicker than my brief run on America's Next Top Model. I mean, I'm not American. Pretty sure that was the only problem. Once you're done with Peach, you can almost instantly recover your weapons from another pneumo tube, and in fact there's even a weapons upgrade kiosk which will make one of your guns more powerful. So you actually leave this small area even more heavily armed than when you went in. Cheers, Peach, you're a real peach. Well, that sounds weird.
Those were 7, count them. 7 times games gave you the gift, I say the gift, of stealing all your stuff so that you could reprove how good you are at them without any of the precious items that you spent the game earning, or the skills you acquired, the abilities you unlocked over the course of the game.
Jane, I just checked my locker. All my stuff's gone. Do you know anything about where it's gone?
Exactly. It's life giving you the gift of starting over.
It's just my laptop is
afresh.
My laptop's in there, my house keys.
Yeah.
I need all that. All that stuff.
You should watch the video. You should watch the video preceding the thing I'm just saying now, and then you'll understand what a gift it is to have everything taken away from you.
Okay, thank you.
Please enjoy some more videos from Outside Xbox, like this one here. Which I don't know what it is, otherwise I'd be set, but I'm sure it's good. Or this one here from Outside Extra, which I guarantee Jane will vouch that it is good, but I'm not quite sure what it is right now.
All my medicines are in there as well, though.